And what were some of the feelings you had just that you had over the years once Harlan had his own family and you were, albeit from a distance most of the time, what were your impressions of him as a person, of his relationship with the children, with mom, etc.? What were just the various instinctual
Well,
feelings, intuitional feelings that you had?
I liked Joni very much as a person, and I felt I could always be her friend. But I knew almost immediately that she was the wrong person for him. Uh, I think I told you my stereotype of men was that men wanted, what is it they said,
Cook in the kitchen.
diplomat in the living room, and a hostess in the dining room, and a whore in bed. And Joni was none of those things. And I knew they both were desperate at the time, and they found each other, and two desperate souls just hung on to each other. Uh,
When you saw them interrelate when you were at family functions or whatever, did you cringe? Did you say these are two people that don't really love each other, or what were your impressions?
my impression was that she was very controlled. Didn't want to show much emotion. And he was, I don't know, cold towards her. I never saw him reach out to hold her hand or pat her on the back or give her a kiss or any. Of course, I never saw my father do that with my mother either. And it was so hard for me to understand. When Sam and I were married, we always held hands in the movies, and we went any place, or if we went to a game or anything, we sat next to each other, we were always holding hands. And it was just kind of automatic. Go to the theater, and we sat next to one another, and he'd have his arm around me, or we'd be holding hands. But I never saw any display of emotion from my father towards my mother, or from Harlan towards Joni, or I don't know, just seemed kind of sterile to me.
How did he seem as a father from what you saw when we were together?
Oh, I thought he was a terrible father. I never saw him warm and gentle and loving towards any of the children. I shouldn't say that. There were times that he was warm and gentle towards Jenny, but she was the exception.
She was the apple of his eye, no question about it.
So it was devastating to
His
him
world
she
ended
died,
when she
yeah.
died.
But towards the boys, I never saw any warmth or gentleness or love. He struck me as a kind of a strict disciplinarian, and that was it. The father's role was to make sure that the boys acted in such and such a way.
In my younger years, he seemed friendlier to me. When I was young, I thought he was fine and friendly to me. And I'm talking about when I was up to the age of maybe 8, 9, 10.
I was going to say 8, yeah.
Yeah, I mean he was actually was warm,
Yeah.
and it was just somewhere after that. And I think Jenny's death, as I've said before, was really the turning point in our family. That was the Waterloo. Everything after that was different.
Well, I think he was a changed man after that, because she had brought out a kind of gentleness in him towards her anyway, and that gentleness seemed to disappear with her death.
I don't think he handled the diabetes very well, for instance. I mean, you have to accept it. You have to accept you need to take shots every day and what have you. But I think that there was some bitterness over the leg injury from the war and over the diabetes, and he was just beat up physically, and I think that was difficult for him.
Well, I think he had that feeling, why me? You know, how come I get chosen out of all these people to have this kind of disability? And And I never said it, but I always had the reaction, hey, where is it written that life is fair? But I didn't say it to him.